Welcome back to O Brothers RC. I'm putting these wheels I anodized on my RS60 today. And that means there's a ton of these little screws that have to be put in and taken out. But I just picked up this new Injora screwdriver and I'm really hoping that this thing is going to help me out with that. So let's pop this sucker open and check it out. It comes in this nice little case, which is pretty cool. Not that I ever use cases. They always end up in the garbage. Feels torquey. But I don't see anything on it other than the USB-C charging outlet and these forward and backward buttons. Also that indicator light there, but really nothing else. I already have one little electric screwdriver, and this one's pretty cool because it actually has a light, which really helps in certain circumstances. So that would have been cool to see this one with a light, but this one is much heavier and definitely going to be way more torquey. It came with 0.5 to 2.0 hex heads. It also came with a real small Phillips for those tiny Phillips screws. Then it came with 4.0, 5.0, 5.5 nut drivers. One thing I like about this one much more than this one is that this can just accept regular size bits as well. You know, just like any of the bits that will fit in your regular drill will fit in here, and that's cool. Because this one came with a bunch of these little bits and they're kind of crappy, and the heads don't last very long on them. And they're really hard to find replacements for. I actually ended up cutting one of these so that it would fit in here and I could use the stronger head, because these little tiny Allens are definitely prone to stripping out if this isn't hardened steel. The good news is these new bits look like they are hardened steel and the tips are nice and sharp on them, so I think these will last a long time. But even if they don't, it's going to be much easier to find replacements to fit into the driver. So when I first took it out of the box, I thought that it was going to be slow. I hit the button and it seemed like it was slow, but it's actually very fast. Plenty fast enough. You got to be careful too. It's very torquey and fast, so you'll definitely be able to strip your screws out if you're not careful. Just to get an idea how fast it is, I'll go ahead and start that little screw right now. All the way done. Goes fast. Do that again. Pretty fast little screwdriver. Lots of torque. I really like it so far. Okay, let's try the 5.0 nut driver. One thing I'm curious about with these is how thin the sidewall is. Nice. So it has a thin sidewall that fits down between these screws, because on these, for instance, the sidewall isn't thin enough and I can't get the nut driver all the way down on the nut. This one's thin enough to go all the way down. Nice. Definitely makes it fast and easy to put those little screws in. I know a lot of the time I don't put them all in because they're such a pain in the butt, especially in the back, you know, where nobody can see them. If there's like 6 in the back ring, I'll usually only put in like half of them. All right, that looks pretty cool. Totally digging that. Definitely an improvement over these, I think. I love this truck. It crawls absolutely amazing. These brass portals, 240 grams between the two. They just stick this thing down to the rocks. Doesn't matter that it's kind of jacked up and I haven't tilted the shocks in or anything. This thing just crawls so good with these super heavy portals. Okay, I dig this thing. It definitely works good. It's got a lot of torque and speed. It's fantastic. I would have liked to see a light on it. That would have been great. It's pretty heavy, so I know there's a good battery in there, and that'll probably last a long time when you're just driving these little screws and nuts like that. So I could definitely recommend this thing. As long as it holds up, it's a great little tool. And of course, if you're stopping by the channel, you're going to see me using this thing all the time, so you're going to know if it holds up. I like this truck so much that I picked up the 24th scale version. And I'm going to use this wreck back here as a donor. Got a busted shock mount. RC four-wheel drive tires that just fell apart. These Patagonias and the Scramblers, they just fall apart. I've got a pair of Falcon Wild Peaks that have lasted for a couple of years, but these Patagonias and Scramblers, they just fall apart. Which is a shame, because they're terrific tires, you know, when you first start out using them. A couple months in, they start deteriorating. And I am just not a fan of Broncos anymore. I might repaint this thing or do something with it, maybe make it a drop top. but for now it's got to go. So it's time to turn it into this thing. And I'll definitely be using this electric screwdriver for that build. So stop back by to check that video out and you'll see how this thing's holding up. All right, I'm gonna knock out the rest of these wheels because I'm excited to get this thing back out on the rocks. The link for this thing will be in the description of the video. And if this video was helpful or entertaining, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Then smash the bell to get notified of my future videos and builds. But as usual, remember, when you think RC, think O Brothers RC. Thanks for watching.